Good afternoon to all of you. Oh, we've got there in the end. I've had some real problems this afternoon with the internet connection. It's resulted in me having to reset the router and things like this and things like that. So we're a little bit delayed in my departure this afternoon. So self-loading cargo passengers already disillusioned, but we're here now. That's the main thing. So hopefully we'll get on board and get on our way real soon. As you can see, we are in Amsterdam, where the weather well, the weather isn't too pretty. A little bit of light drizzle. We are on VATSIM. We've got the VATSIM network, and I don't believe there is actually any air traffic control online at the moment, so it is just us. We'll have to make some calls on Unicom, of course, but we'll get going shortly. So I'm still just setting a couple of things up with having to run through the setup a little quicker than usual, as we had those problems. And it's a 2-hour flight as well today, so looking forward to having you guys on board as we do that. Once we've got going, I think I'm just about ready to get on board, and then we can crack on. So I hope you are all very well. Watch night, good afternoon. Hugh, did I get the please insert disc message yesterday? Yes, I did. I'd come into the office last night. I planned on recording a few videos, a couple more tutorials that people have asked me to do, and sadly couldn't do anything. So that was a waste of an evening. Good afternoon, Nick. Right, so with all that in hand, let's, without further ado, he says, closing some stuff down. There we are. Let's get on board, shall we? So, ready to fly. Here we are, looking, as I say, rather damp, drizzly and wet at Amsterdam this afternoon. Is anyone flying alongside this afternoon? Nick, whereabouts are you? Are you with us today, or are you elsewhere in your simulator? I haven't even got a jetway at this airport. It looks like our passengers have to walk down here and then jump into the aircraft. Never mind. Let's get the batteries on, shall we? And we'll call for some ground power. Let's turn that fly pad on. Jean, oh, you're joining us. Excellent, at Bravo 24. Oh, you got plenty of time. Plenty of time. I wanted to be away by 2 o'clock, but that's not going to happen. Company, oh, the username's not in there. I thought that might have been saved, but apparently not. So let's get that in. Easyjetsimpilot, done, and let's get some external power. If external power's knocking around, let's see. Is external power knocking around anywhere? Should we try that again? There it is. Chances are if it's not there when you first spawn in, then what's happened is that the if you press it once, it will arrive, and then if you press it again, you can obviously use it. There he is. Oh, where's he going? Come back. There we go. Emerson, I thought we landed in Mexico yesterday. Yeah, we did. The long call. Oh my word, what is he doing? Should we have another go? Please come back. I've never seen that before. Okay, mind the trucks, mind the cargo bins. Oh, good lord, it must be his first day on the job and his last. Right, okay, have another go. Are we going to get there? I might not fly anywhere. I might just sit and watch this guy. Come on, that's it. Maneuver it around the luggage bins. There you go. That's looking a bit better, isn't it? Wow. Right, well, I hope the ground power unit still works when he's... What are you doing? No, 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 no. You're going to end up just... Oh, typical. Look at that. I'll not make a crack about it being a woman driver. Has he done? Finally. Right. Well, that was interesting. Great way to start the stream. Let's get the external power connected, shall we? Oh, that was brilliant. Right. Let's crack on getting the flight deck set up, and we'll start getting you guys on board. That's got to go in the outtakes reel for the 2021 year, hasn't it? Anyway, without further ado, shall we start getting passengers on board and getting some fuel on board as well? Let's tell the flight crew that they can start boarding. Have we got any stairs today or anything that's going to come? No, sadly not. Wrong parking stand for that one. Anyway, self-loading cargo is about to kick in. I will tell them that they can start getting you guys on board.
Cabin crew, yeah, we've completed the checks, so now you can open the doors and start getting the passengers on board.
Okay, no problem.
So let's get those doors opened. Check on the ECAM, see if that... there we go. Ah, good morning, HD. Morning. What time did you wake up? Okay, let's get some fuel loaded in, shall we? So, before I go any further, actually, let me give you guys the operational flight plan for this afternoon's flight. So, we are heading from Amsterdam to Riga. There is the flight plan. And I'll give you some current meta as well. Current meta is... Here we go. Actually, the meta looks quite realistic out in the simulator today, so that's nice. There we are. Okay, so with that now you guys have got eyes on the flight plan. Let's go ahead and start getting some fuel and weights on board. So init press, let's download it from SimBrief. 1 hour 54 minutes, the flight today. Let's check these performance, weight and balance pages. So now I think let's go over to our flypad, link the information from SimBrief. That should pop in. There we are. Dispatch, operational flight plan, and let me just zoom in on there. There we are. Okay, so we're looking for about 6.2 tons of fuel. 6.2 tons. Let's get that loaded. And let's have a look at the payload. We've got 171 passengers, 17.8 tons, and 58.8 the zero fuel weight. Zero fuel weight 58.8, and payload 17,784. And get that loaded in, and a zero fuel rate centre of gravity of 30. So let's load that in. What I will do at this point as well is we can also slide this position now to the empty centre of gravity position. We can slide that up to 30. There we are. That's a new feature following the latest sim update as well. So now that's loaded in, check, we've got a gross weight of 64.9 tons. Let's just check our takeoff weight then. Takeoff weight 64, just under 64.8 tons, so that's okay as well. Alright, so now we've just loaded the fuel and things. We'll continue with the preliminary cockpit setup. Now that is all done, then I think I just inadvertently turned on the emergency signs. Let's also turn on the fuel pumps, and we can also start that APU. Quick fire check then. Engine 1, engine number 2, and of course the APU. There we go. Okay, so APU master coming on. Give it 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and we can start that. Now we'll get the APU bleed on as well once that's sorted. Come down to the centre and the QNH 1024. Let's set that up. 1024, and check everything else is as it should be. Let's come down to the audio control panel, set the guard frequency 1215. So, for those of you that were waiting for a stream this morning, unfortunately I couldn't get on this morning, but here we are now, hopefully for the duration. And as I say, I don't think there's any air traffic control here, so we don't need to be tuning into anything on there. Everything else looks good. Let's move up to the glare shield 1024, the QNH. Get those flight directors on. Turn up the brightness as well. It's a little bit dark under these rainy, drizzly skies, isn't it? Get the primary flight display turned up and the navigation display. Turn the first officer's displays off. Save those frame rates. And tell you what, just to add a little bit of realism, I'm going to have to remember that we can do this now. We can call the baggage and we can also call the catering. So we've got something for you guys to drink whilst we are en route. There we go. Kevin, we're actually taking off runway 36 centre today for the winds that we've got. So, not a long taxi. Now, will those luggage bins actually be able to enter the aircraft after they've been destroyed by our ground power unit driver? Oh, HD, I don't know if you were there for that, but that was well worth rewinding the stream for to go and watch. It'll give you a laugh. Okay, IRS alignment in 3 minutes, so let's come down and set up. Aircraft status, LEAP engines, correct AirX cycle, that's fine. And let's have a look then at the init A. Let's pull this in. That's popped in nicely. I've just realised, guys, can you actually see my my cursor? You might not be able to. Let me just turn that on, then you can see what it is I'm clicking away at. There we go. Yorkshire Purge, yeah, lots of problems with the servers last night, so unfortunately lots of people not streaming last night for that problem. HD, if you rewind the stream just to the point where I was calling the GPU, so quite early on, just that's all I'm going to say. And that goes for everyone. Just quickly rewind to where we called the GPU if you've only just joined us. It'll it'll give you something to chuckle at. All right, so the alternate. Oh, the alternate's actually been put in for us today. Echo Fox Hotel Kilo, and we can just confirm that is correct. Where is it? Alternate Echo Fox Hotel Kilo. There we go. And cost index of 8. Cruise flight level 370 and temperature of 52. I've actually got a temperature of 57, so we'll go ahead and pop that, change that, minus 57. And I can also change the flight number as well to our call sign Easy34 Alpha Mike. There we go. Tropopause is 34151. 34151. There we go. Interesting that the ground temperature is there as well. That's not something you can look at and use just yet. Okay, so there's our init A. Let's have a look at the flight plan. So the flight plan today is departing runway 36 center, and it is the Nopsu 2 Whiskey departure. So depart runway 36 center, GPS primary kicking in there, 36 center, and the Nops 2 Whiskey. Kevin, if it has changed, that's fine, but I'm happy to take runway 36. It's a very slight wind. Let's get that inserted. And the arrival then at EVRA is ILS runway 36, and it is, oh, it's north all the way today, isn't it? Depart 36, arrive 36, and it's the Orvix 2 Charlie. Orvix 2 Charlie. So let's pop that in. Arrival ILS, not the VOR. ILS 36, and the Orvix 2 Charlie arrival, and that is via PEVAC. Insert. This screen seems very dark. I don't know if that's any brighter for you. There we go. Okay, so with the flight plan all set up, let's have a look. We've got 726 miles, and on here we've got 753 miles. So slight difference, but we're used to that here in the sim. We'll check how the route looks on the display. So that's how I would expect that to look. Once we get above 500 feet, then we can make a turn to direct Riga, and then following that, we're just following the standard instrument departure out. Let's have a look what the arrival looks like, see if that looks as I would expect. Basically coming in from the west, dropping down south, and then coming into land on runway 36, and that is exactly as it looks there. So that's nice, that all works. Luke, how realistic is this plane compared to pair planes? Well, I think a lot of the problems we've got at the moment are sim-based rather than they are aircraft-based. The fly-by-wire team do an amazing job, but they do have to work within the confinements of Microsoft's coding, so if it can't be done yet in the simulator, it's difficult to do in the aircraft. But certainly does a decent job of replicating a lot of the systems. And I think one of the other things as well is you've got to decide personally how realistic do you want to take it. So here on these sort of real op routes, we try and make it as realistic as possible. So we're doing all the checks, we're doing all the checklists, we're running through everything as you would do. But realistically, if you wished, you could probably just get in, take off, push the throttles to toga, and off you go. But it's not very realistic. Having said that, I have tried that just for fun, and the aircraft misbehaved as it wasn't set up correctly. So you know, there is a little bit of stuff that you've got to go through and set up if you want the aircraft to actually work as you would expect it to. Right, so happy with the flight plan. In the RadNav page, I'm going to pop in the Sierra Papa Yankee VOR, and KLM 5692. Don't know who that is, but I'm guessing they've just morphed into me. Oh well, I've been here for half an hour, I'm not going anywhere. Let's pop that in there. There we go. Just if we need that data, we can turn that on, as that's one of the first waypoints out on our departure. Let's come and have a look then at our Init B page. So Init B, the fuel planning page. So the zero fuel weight, again we can just get that from over here. Our zero fuel weight was 58.8. Let's pop that in, 58.8. And the zero fuel weight center of gravity. And trip wind of headwind 12, H12. So I'm expecting, let's see, the fuel planning will hit that, and then we should expect to see around 6.2 tons that we've got at the moment. Let's have a look. Oh, it's telling us we only need 5, so I'm very happy with that. What have we got on board at the moment? 6.1 with the APU running, so let's calculate with that. 6.1. Those numbers will populate in a moment. 64.8 our takeoff weight, and takeoff weight 64.8. Spot on. Happy with that. Maxim, good afternoon. And fuel prediction says we'll be in Riga with 2 tons of fuel on board. Again, very happy with that. So that little noise there tells me that our passengers, I think, have boarded. Let's have a look at our takeoff performance page. So transition altitude here is 3,000 feet. Our initial climb out as well, we need to be aware, is 6,000 feet, so we need to go standard pressure after departure. Flaps 1 for our departure, and already calculated the flex temp takeoff of 61, and we are departing from Whiskey 8 for those of you with the charts. Departing from Whiskey 8. Let's calculate our V speeds. Thrust reduction, acceleration, noise abatement, departure procedure 2, so that's absolutely fine. V2 136, rotation speed 132, and V1 131. Alright, so all of that looks good. There's no speed restrictions or anything like that on departure. So let's have a look at our actual departure briefing then. So the weather, which I gave you a bit ago, we've got a little bit of light drizzle. Visibility is still good. Winds 290 at 7. Nothing to stop us coming back here if we had a problem following our departure. We're under the maximum landing weight, so don't need to worry about that either. So that's quite nice. HD, is it not 6,000 feet? You've got me double checking now. Nopsu 2 whiskey departure. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, flight level 60. Sorry, 060. Slight ruler moment there. Particularly as I even commented that it is, of course, above the transition altitude. Good afternoon, Christian. Okay, so let's just have a look. If I bring up the VFR map for you. So here we are. We shall taxi down here, up there, and then it is this taxiway here that we've, which is Whiskey 8, that we'll be departing from. Runway 36. It's not quite as soon as that turn would have you believe. We need to be above 500 feet and happy with the aircraft's behaviour. We'll then turn towards our first waypoint over there. Initial stop climb, flight level 060. There's the Sierra Papa Yankee VOR that we popped in as well, and then we're on our way. Nothing wrong with the aircraft other than the normal flaps 1 extra drag, still in the experimental version or the custom build, which is what I'm flying today. The only threat, which is really the only main threat that I can see. So let me just close that out. Obviously we know we've no real terrain to worry about around here. Amsterdam, what terrain? It's below sea level. Alright, so with that I'm quite happy. At this point we get our departure clearance from air traffic control. I'm going to double check that they've not just sprung to life and have come online. No, they've not. So that's fine, we're on our own, which means I'm now going to come down and tune to Unicom 122.8. There we go. And let's just go through and make sure we're all ready. Let's get those seatbelt signs on now that refueling has been completed. We'll start the APU bleed. We can say goodbye to the ground power unit. God knows what's going to happen to him when he
traffic, 464
pushes away.
From stand Bravo 35.
So that sounds like Nick to me. Was that you, Nick? Are you pushing back from stand 35? Alright, so he's at the other side of the terminal to us. Where's that ground power unit going to go? I have no idea. Oh yeah, so there's Nick straight in front of me. Doesn't appear like we've actually got a tug. We're going to have a phantom pushback today. Never mind. This is again a handcrafted airport. Schiphol, looking very nice. So, quick final check then. Everything's looking fine. Let's have a look at our cockpit preparation. Is all now complete. Doors have just been closed as well. Signs are on and auto. Ideas, we need to check actually 3 nav green.
Hi Captain, all passengers are on board and doors have been
There we go.
closed.
Thank you.
Fuel quantity 6.1 is loaded and is balanced. Flight management guidance computer is all set. Altimeter 1024 set and cross-checked. So we're about ready to push back. Let's welcome you guys on board, and I look forward to flying you to Riga this afternoon.
Cabin crew, we're all ready to go. So please arm the doors and cross-check. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit, this is your captain speaking, and I'd like to welcome you on board the aircraft. We're running slightly behind schedule, but we should be able to make up the time once we get up in the air. The guys on the ground are loading the final bits of luggage into the aircraft, so I expect us to be on our way very shortly. If you could help the cabin crew by getting yourself sat comfortably with seatbelts fastened, we should be ready in
traffic,
just a few minutes.
Easy201,
For now, I'd like to thank you for choosing to fly with us today, and I hope you enjoyed the flight. Thank you.
Okay, so we're ready to push back. The tug is connected. Let's get that rotating beacon light on. Nose wheel steering is disconnected. Start the timer. Acupressure is in the green. Transponder set to auto. I'm going to do one final check that air traffic control hasn't come online, and it hasn't.
Amsterdam, Scandinavian 224, pushback from Bravo 24.
And before start checklist below the line, windows and doors are closed and armed. Rotating beacon light is on. Mobile phone off. Parking brake on, and we're about to release that as we begin our push. So let's make a quick call on Unicom. Skip all traffic, EZ34 Alpha Mag, pushing back, stand Bravo 36, facing south. Parking brake released. Engine mode select to ignition and starting engine 1.
Ladies and gentlemen and channel members. On behalf of the crew, I ask that you please direct your attention to the monitors as we review the emergency procedures. There are 6 emergency exits on this A320neo. Please take a minute to locate the one closest to you and note that it may be behind you. Count the number of rows to the exit. Should the cabin experience pressure loss, stay calm and listen for instructions from
I'm
the
stabilized and starting
Oxygen
engine 2.
masks will drop down from above your seat. Place the mask over your mouth and nose like this, and pull the strap to tighten it. If you are traveling with children, make sure you put your own mask on first before helping others. In the unlikely event of an emergency landing and evacuation, leave your carry-on luggage and items behind. Life rafts are located below your seats and emergency lighting in the floors will lead you to the closest exit. We ask that you make sure that all carry-on luggage is stowed away safely during the flight. While we wait for takeoff, please take a moment to review the safety procedures on the card in the pocket in front of you. Electronic device must now be switched off or turned to airplane mode until we instruct you that it is again safe to use them. Our cabin service will commence once we are in flight. If you are a frequent flyer with us, you can now join the channel as a member and obtain extra perks to make your journey with us more enjoyable. Thank you for your attention and we hope you
Pushback
enjoy the
complete.
flight.
Popping the parking brakes on. I like listening to the safety brief announcement. They might surprise me one day and say something different. Engine 1 is now stabilised. Engine mode select to norm. APU bleed coming off. De-ice is coming on. APU masters can come off. Ground spoilers armed. And we can check our flaps 1 and the pitch trim, which is 31.8. So that's the pitch trim set. Check the ECAM. All good, and we're now clear to disconnect. So goodbye to the tug driver. Hope he doesn't crash into anything.
One taking off for runway 24.
Where is that tug driver? Oh, we actually don't have one. I forgot. We don't actually have a tug driver. It's a phantom tug driver today.
And skip on traffic, Pushback 464, taxi by Alpha and keep back to runway 26 center.
Okay, so the after start checklist. Anti-ice is on. ECAM status was checked. Pitch trim is 31.8 and the rudder is set 0. So let's announce our taxi, shall we? Just before I do that, I'm going to do a flight control check whilst we are here. So full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, and the rudder full right, full left, neutral. Okay, now that's been done, let's announce our taxi. Skip all ground, easy 34 Alpha Mike, taxiing via Alpha Quebec to runway 36 center. So we've got the taxi clearance, let's pop the taxi light on as well. We can release those parking brakes.
Scandinavian 224, taxiing to runway 36 center via Alpha Quebec. Holding point Whiskey 8, the taxi behind the company Easyjet.
And away we go. So I wonder how many guys are flying with us today.
And Easyjet 34 Alpha Mike, if you want to go in front, I'll just hold here.
And we just had a message to say that EHAM ground is online. Okay, right, this could be a pain. So let's hold the position there. Contact ground 121.8. Let's hope it doesn't change anything too much. That would be a pain. Amsterdam ground, good afternoon. Easy 34 Alpha Mike is set ready to taxi via Alpha and Quebec to runway 36 center for departure. Holding point Whiskey 8.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike. It will be underground share departure for runway 24 and please set the squawk 0164.
Squawk 0164, new runway for departure, runway 24, and just confirm the standard instrument departure, please.
This is the Endic 1 share departure.
The Endic 1 Sierra departure for Easy 34 Alpha Mike. Thank you.
Alpine 17 Juliet Hotel.
Oh, this is a pain.
6 to Papa, please.
Alpine 17 Juliet Hotel, hello, cleared the Basel on the Lopic to Share departure runway 24, initial climb flight level 60, squawk 1000.
Cleared Basel via the Lopic 20 departure to the runway 24, initial climb 060, and the squawk 1000.
So, just trying to find some charts.
Alpine 17 Juliet Hotel, repackage correct, report fully ready.
Wilco 177.
Skip all ground, Easy34 Alpha Mike. Is it possible to continue our departure ride runway 36 as we're all programmed in and set to go?
Easy34 Alpha Mike, could you please repeat over 2 aircraft calls?
Easy34 Alpha Mike, just wondering if it's possible to continue with our planned departure via runway 36 centre as we're all planned in and ready to go.
Easy34 Alpha Mike, it's no problem with me, but it's up to you because the wind is 290 at 7 knots, so you can decide.
Roger, no, that's fine. We're happy to take that runway 36 centre, and we'll be using the Nopsu 2 Whiskey departure. Easy34 Alpha Mike.
34 Alpha Mike sounds good. Kineson 024 and report there for taxi.
Roger, yeah, we're ready for taxi now. Thank you, 34 Alpha Mike.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, taxi, hold on point Whiskey 9, runway 36 center via Quebec, and please set squawk 0164.
To holding point Whiskey 9 centre, and we'll recycle the squawk now, 0164, Easy34 Alpha Mike.
Okay, then I the speed with 464 calling.
Oh, that's easy. I'm trying to reprogram everything. Oops.
Yeah, I see you're already pushed, so it will be the Andic 1 share departure, runway 24, with the squawk 0177.
Squawking 0177, can we request the same as the Easyjet 34 Alpha Mike for 36 centre? Otherwise we're going to have to reprogram here.
Yeah, okay, then the Nopsu 2 Whiskey departure, runway 36 center.
Fantastic, thank you. I'll just set the squawk.
And then the Eurowings on 835 call.
We'll also ask him once we've got a bit closer actually if we can take Whiskey 8, as that's what we programmed for, and to be fair, Whiskey 9 looks like a bit of a pain to taxi to.
Taxi on point Sierra 5, runway 24 via Alpha 4 and Bravo.
So ground, Steve 464, we're ready for taxi.
First, Eurowings on 835, taxi on point Sierra 5, runway 24 via Alpha 4.
Eurowings 1835, taxi via Sierra 5, Alpha 4 and Bravo 2 runway 24.
Okay, so taxi down here, and Quebec is on our right in a moment.
9 runway 36 center via Quebec.
Whiskey 9, 36 centre, by Quebec, Steve 464.
Shipper from South, Scandinavian 224, request Alpha clearance to Riga. And I would like to keep the runway 36 center and not 2 Whiskey departure if possible, 224.
Always one of those horrible moments when air traffic control comes online, right at the very last minute. I love it when they're there from the start.
0147.
Clear filed via...
Okay, so just checking, is this...
Initial flight level is 60 and...
Is this Quebec over here?
224.
Scandinavian 224, repair is correct. Kineson 024, report ready for taxi.
I think so. I would presume so. Let's have a look. That's taxiway Alpha
Hotel on Hotel 6 ready for push and start.
Sierra 2. Yeah, so here's Quebec.
Kineson 024, Pushback is approved.
Push and start approved for Alpha 172 Hotel.
could do with some of those lovely taxi signs on the on
on
the ground.
And the Scandinavian 224 taxi on for Whiskey 9 runway 36 center via Pushback.
Taxi to runway 36 center or to Whiskey 9 via Quebec 224.
And KLM 29 uniform confirmed for the clearance.
I don't think I've ever been this way at Schiphol before.
And KLM 29
It's very nice, isn't it?
Cleared Oslo, Andrik van Sherry Departure runway 24. Initial climb to level 60, scope 3152.
Okay, so whilst we're taxiing straight, let's get the weather radar on. Wind shear,
KLM 29 uniform repack score.
auto brake to max.
And your wings on a
Ding the cabin crew.
Wings 1835, sorry, I missed Sierra 5.
Geo config.
Position to runway 24.
Your wings on 835, no problem. Now you have just a little bit more runway. You can mount in the command band to do that, mate. Have a nice flight.
Okay, wings 1835, monitor any command to the right. Thank you, bye bye.
Schiphol ground, Easy 34 Alpha Mike. Could we possibly take Whiskey 8 for our departure?
From this, you could take your Whiskey 8 for Alpha 26 and Bravo.
Whiskey 8 via Alpha 26, many thanks. Easy 34 Alpha Mike. So, we need to take the first right here. There's a one-way system in place. I think actually it told us we could take Alpha 26 and ignore the one-way system, but never mind. So our departure briefing, thankfully, is still the same as it was. Noise abatement to departure.
And Easy 34 Alpha and Mike, no further ATC available, Monozuno command to do that, mate. Running this one takeoff from runway 24.
Thanks for your help, and we'll move over to Unicom now. Easy 34 Alpha Mike. Bye bye. So as ground doesn't actually control any of the departures here, I am going to tune on to Unicom now, just so I can hear what else is going off around the airport. Okay, so I'm just checking we're on the right taxiway. Yes, we are. So let's run the before takeoff checklist to the line. Flight controls check. Departure briefing is confirmed. Flap setting config 1 and FMA takeoff data 131 blue, 136 magenta. Climb nav blue. Flight level 60, although at the moment it's 6,000 feet. We need to set standard pressure after departure 1 FD2 and flex temp of 61. Let's go ahead and announce that we're going to line up on runway 36 center. Skip all traffic, Easy 34 Alpha Mike, lining up runway 36 center for departure to the north. So let's get the lights on, get the packs off, anti-ice is on. Let's line up. Cabin is secured for takeoff. Engine mode select norm, and we can also set now transponder and TCAS. TARA, tilt above. Oops, I think I've set that to below. Hang on, there we go. Charlie, what calculator or calculation do I use to get the flex temp? Right, the best thing I can advise is on the channel there's the real world procedures tutorial series on there, which is slowly growing. If you have a look at that when it comes to setting up the flight management computer, flight management guidance system, that will show you how to go through all that. It's basically a website that you can use. So all looks clear. So just need to be aware on departure that there is a wind coming over from the left. 7 knots shouldn't be too much of a problem for us. So we'll just get lined up, do our final checks. So we've run the before takeoff checklist. All is looking good. Let's go. So start takeoff and start the chrono. 50% N1. And then set takeoff thrust. Man flex, SRS and runway.
Shipboard traffic, speedboat 464, lining up behind departing Easyjet, A320.
Side stick back to neutral by 100 knots.
100 knots.
V1, rotate.
Positive right, gear up.
So climb thrust is about 1,000 feet. Setting climb thrust. Lower that nose to start accelerating away. We can now make that right hand turn. Not too big a turn. And let's get pack 1 on. Give it 10 seconds before popping the second pack on. Pack number 2 coming on. Passing S speed, flaps 0 and ground spoilers disarmed. Accelerating to 250 knots. Set standard pressure. So initial stop climb is flight level 060. With no air traffic control, we can now go higher. So let's set flight level to 50. 250 blue.
Rolling 36 center.
Speed, climb and nav. Kevin, yeah, I tend to agree with you. They always come on for landing too. I love that rain effect now as it hits the windscreen through the cloud. Let's hope for better weather in Riga, shall we? So we're now headed direct to the Sierra Papa Yankee waypoint, or VOR. Passing flight level 060, and I'm now happy. I'm going to engage autopilot 1. Autopilot 1 engaged. Just check. Hang on a minute. Oh, that might have been YHD. It hadn't clicked into the CL detent. There we go. Does anybody else have problems getting their thrust levers to find those detents? Because they're really obviously quite close at the top. Toga at the top, then MCT just below it, and then obviously climb thrust. The CL detent.
Traffic Amsterdam, 1011 taking off runway 36 center.
Yeah, HD, that was the first clue that I wasn't in the climb detent. We're passing 10,000 feet. Let's get those lights off. Can now release the cabin crew. See how high this cloud base goes, shall we, in a moment? HD, do you mean the the lack of noise? It was rather quiet. Okay, no air traffic control. Let's continue now. I'll climb to flight level 370 blue. Easyjetsimpilot, that's you out of here for good. Goodbye. Flight level 140. I don't think you're going to get to see much of the ground below us. And if you also check out the weather on the flight plan as well, I don't know where these where the flight pad gets its weather from, but that looks great. How do I know which approach to use? Well, obviously, like you say, either air traffic control or it is on the operational flight plan, which 9 times out of 10 is good and accurate. So Kevin, you think we'll go over Bremen, and they are online. So you tend to get more air traffic control online, obviously, in the evenings, as everybody finishes work. For those that have got work at the moment. Kumar, don't worry mate, he's gone. Don't worry about that. Flight level 170, it is a little bit bumpy on our way out of Amsterdam. You can see that buffeting up and down. What do you reckon? Should we take the seatbelt signs off? Should we let you all out? Think's alright. Milano, you use Flight Planner X. I'm not familiar with that. Is SimBrief better? So, I'm not familiar with Flight Planner X, so I'm afraid I can't comment. But SimBrief gives you a very realistic looking operational flight plan, and to me that's all I want. Something that I can follow, understand, and of course is as close to the real world as possible. And now that we've got it over here on the flight pad, I'll just zoom in so we can see everything. So you can see here we were given which runway we were taking off from, what our standard instrument departure was, and there's our arrival, runway 36, and we're using the Autovix 2 Charlie arrival. And I believe we may be starting to come out of the clouds. Yep, serve some booze. The cabin crew's released, my friend, so they're on with it. Snacks and booze, Budweiser and crisps on the way. Be nice to get out of this cloud cover, though. Oh, look, we've got another original back in the chat. Let's see how long this one lasts. Iron can disappear as well. That's the problem with doing streams in the afternoon. School's out. Nick, you've just taken the words right out of my mouth. Captain Ian, good question. What I was looking for was, look at this. I didn't know if this was going to work. Can you see the weather radar? We had a little gap in the clouds coming in, and that is the first time I was thinking, are we going to get a little break just here? And I don't think it's so much of a break as it is, in fact, if I just look below us, because I think the weather radar's tilted or just below continuously. And, oh, actually, there is a gap below us in the clouds, so there you are. Proof the weather radar does work, you just have to be at the right altitude. Mackie Mac, it's the custom build, so it's not the stable build, it's the custom build. That's the problem with the stable builds. The stable builds are obviously brilliant, and they work. Everything that they've coded into works really, really well, but you lose some features. Kevin, is Riga Tower online? Well, they're going to have a long wait. So we're about an hour and 50 minutes away from there. Do you know what? There's only one room for Easyjetsimpilot in this channel. Goodbye. So cabin can now have the seatbelt signs turned off. You guys can stretch your legs. Looks like we're above the clouds. Let's get the de-ice off. Yeah, it's alright, HD. I had a feeling. That wasn't quite directed at me. Yeah, I really don't want to have to divert the flight due to unruly passengers. RB26, so you were on VATSIM from Orlando to Daytona, and air traffic control was super nice. Yeah, do you know what? I hear some horror stories about VATSIM ATC, but I think they're very, very rare. Very rare instead. I've only ever had good things. Never had a bad experience. I think we were once on a stream and we heard one controller getting slightly frustrated with a pilot. I say pilot, he was a child, and that's not to do children disrespect, because we have some great kids on here that know how to fly really, really well. But I think he just bought the simulator, hopped onto VATSIM, and didn't know what an ILS was. So in the end, I think the air traffic controller just told him to do what he wants. Good luck, don't fly into the Pennines, or words to that effect. HD isn't go around soft only on the Neo though. Is it on the other A320s? Have they updated it? I thought it was a Neo specific little feature. Dickens FS, you're quite right. I think we were all grounded last night. Flight level 300. Milero, which airport's that one? I'm not familiar with Echo Yankee Victor India. So about 6,000 feet to go, but it's certainly time that the cabin crew can come and do their first round of drinks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to serve a selection of alcoholic drinks including wine and locally sourced ales. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisle. If you would like to upgrade to premium brands, super stickers and super chats are available. If you are a frequent flyer with us, you can now join the channel as a member and get extra perks to make your journey with us more enjoyable. Thank you.
Gigi, how proficient do you need to be speaking the jargon before hopping on VATSIM? Do you know, I honestly don't. I think it's not so much speaking it, you need to be able to understand it. A lot of the time, speaking it is just reading back the instructions, such as which heading, which flight level, altitude. As long as you know what the standard instrument departures are, and of course standard arrival routes, how to code them into the aircraft. I think you probably need to be more efficient in flying your aircraft than you do speaking the jargon. A lot of it's self-explanatory. But if you want to get to grips with the aviation language, so to speak, particularly on VATSIM, then get yourself to a busy airport, log on, sit in the corner of the airfield and listen to the ground communications. Right, we've got air traffic control. So 12392. 12392.5.
The contact Bremen on 123.925, Kevin 650, bye-bye.
Radar, good afternoon, Easy 34 Alpha Mike, passing flight level 340, request flight level 370.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, Bremen, hello, radar contact. Climb level 370, direct SK.
Climb flight level 370, and could you just confirm the direct waypoint to me, please?
Golf Echo Sierra Kilo Alpha.
Direct to Geska, thank you, Easy 34 Alpha Mike.
Radar, okay, then 650, inbound Echo Lima, flight level 280.
Philip 650, Bremen, hello, radar contact.
Good afternoon.
That's going to save us some time, isn't it?
With you, we're passing through flight level 320 for 370.
Seabed 464, Bremen, hello, radar contact. Proceed direct to Hotel Alpha Mike, climb level 370.
Direct to Hotel Alpha Mike at 370, Seabed 464.
Same radar, good afternoon, Scandinavian 2240, going for...
So, now direct to Geska. And as you heard there, if you're unsure with something, just ask. I wasn't sure which waypoint he'd said there, just because of the radio communications and his accent, of course. So if you're not sure, just ask. And most of the controls are absolutely fantastic. Mac Alt Star, and coming up on flight level 370. So let's have a look with that little shortcut. What time are we expected to arrive? Around 16:25 Zulu time. This is about an hour and a half away. And there we go, alt cruise. Can we get the standby brightness up? Looks a little bit dark, doesn't it? The screens have gone darker since they added this sort of realistic reflection, which is nice, but the screens are just a little bit dark. And this is the brightest we can turn it up to. They're absolutely fine at night time, and you know what? The sun will probably be setting by the time we arrive, so we'll be able to see everything clean. HD, no, beam's not working yet. But HD, I sent you something last night which should excite you.
Two stations, Midland 8906, Bremen, good evening, radar contact, Squawk 2552.
Squawk 2552, Midland 896.
Delta Echo 2244, Sie haben sich gemeldet?
Ja, ich bin gerade auf Fest gestartet und jetzt in Richtung Charlie.
So, cycling with the ECAMs,
Delta Echo 2244,
engine's fine,
verstanden, bleiben Sie erstmal außerhalb der
bleed air's
Kontrollzone, rufen Sie
fine,
Bremenradar auf 119,525.
cabin pressure auto,
9525.
electric page looks okay, hydraulics, oh, bit of news about this. There's hydraulics are on the way now on the low ECAM, seen that, it is coming. And fuel, all looks good. APU not on. Oh, I got a slight worry there when it said it was 0 degrees in the cabin. And flight control computers all working as well. So, right, 21 minutes into the flight, and we're now going direct to Geska, so I'm hoping this will actually save us a little bit of time. So,
Radar, hello, Beluga, C34 Delta, flight for 100.
Let's find Geska on here.
Hello again, radar contact, climb flight level 340.
1340, Beluga, C34 Delta.
Beluga 234 Delta. That's just been released, hasn't it? Is that an X-plane that they've just released that? So Geska, 46 minutes after departure, then let's have a look. We should be there in around 24 minutes, so about 48 minutes away. So yeah, a little bit of time
370 direct to Ska.
saved.
370 direct to Ska, uniform.
Beluga 234 Delta, proceed direct Ravlo.
Like Ravlo, Beluga, C34 Delta.
Direct Ravlo. Okay, so Nick, you finally got your slats only sorted. Oh, and going flaps 1 on the approach. Got it set to a button. Excellent. Well, I'm going to have to try and remember to do this again today, but yesterday it messed up my approach into Mexico, as pretty certain I went flaps 1, turned out the flaps weren't out. So it's alright, we came in safely in the end, but it wasn't the most perfect preparation that it could have been. Christian, this is the first time you've actually heard a German on VATSIM, really? So Captain Ian VATSIM is essentially just virtual air traffic control simulation, so you've got real life humans looking at real live radars of all the people flying on the VATSIM network. And you can fly on the VATSIM network not just in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but if you've got FSX or any of the older flight simulators that are compatible, or X-Plane or P3D, it basically links everything up on the VATSIM network. And you can see pilots as well here, as you could see when we were on the ground at Amsterdam. You were able to see other pilots and other aircraft. So whilst we're in the cruise then, guys, I'm going to tell you some exciting news if you're not on our Discord server and have already heard it. The Aerosoft CRJ is being released. I think it's been released today, isn't it? Is that right? Well, Aerosoft have been very, very kind, and I've got a free copy to give away. So coming up at some point this week, we will be doing a giveaway of the new Aerosoft CRJ aircraft. Now, I'm not going to pretend to fly it, because it would do Aerosoft and the aircraft a disservice if I attempted to try and fly it correctly. I'm trying to fly this thing correctly. But we will be doing a special flight, and we will...
Yeah, we're going direct gas, guys.
We will be doing a special flight, and we will be giving away a free copy of Aerosoft CRJ this week. So, if you haven't already, do hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications for information of that. Stay tuned to the channel, make sure you don't miss that. So, looking forward to doing that for you. And a big thank you to Aerosoft as well for donating a free copy of that to give away. We've also got other giveaways coming up. We've got the flight radar, the flight replay control is also, we've got 2 copies of that to give away as well at some point. So looking forward to giving away lots of some goodies on future streams.
Descent flight level 200, cleared, no go 1 Papa arrival.
So now we're at flight level 370, the cabin crew is doing as they should do. So whilst we're in the cruise, obviously I need to stay tuned to ATC, but I am going to come off the microphone just for a little bit while I continue to do a little bit of work. But I shall be with you in the chat room.
Delta Alpha Triple X-ray for separation, maximum.
Nick, you didn't miss anything, mate. So the giveaway will be this week. That's all I know at the moment. But don't worry. As soon as I know when it'll be, I shall ping the post in the Discord server.
Delta Alpha Triple X-ray, you cut out there in the middle. Just confirm cleared, no go 1 Papa arrival.
Delta Alpha Triple X-ray, cleared, no go 1 Papa arrival.
Christian, me and HD should do a share copy of the CRJs. We both have no clue. That would be interesting. Okay, guys, I'm going to join you in the chat room in a couple of minutes, but I'm coming off the microphone now. I will, as I say, with you in the chat room, and I'll be back on the microphone for the landing as well. So I shall speak to you on air shortly. Back in the chat in a couple of minutes. Bye-bye.
KLM 650 when ready, descend to reach flight 260 at Echo Echo Lima.
KLM 260 at Echo Echo Lima, KLM 650.
Delta Alpha Triple X-ray, descent level 110.
Alpha Triple X descent level 110.
Alpha Triple X, connect now Hamburg arrival on 119.525, cheers.
Alpha Triple X bei Hamburg arrival 119.525. Sorry, on the frequency.
First, Swiss 185, descent flight level 110, level at Euro.
Descent flight level 110, level at 185.
Kyle 972 Bremen, good evening, radar contact, squawk 2544.
Squawking 2544, Kyle 972.
KLM 650, no further ATC ahead, Unicom 122 decimal 8 away.
Good Unicom 122 decimal 8, KLM 650. Thank you and have a nice evening. Bye bye.
You too. Swiss 185, contact Hamburg arrival on 119.525, bye-bye.
119.525 for Swiss 185, clearance takeoff.
Gleichfalls. Kyle 972, able for flight level 410.
Negative, Kyle 972.
Okay, Kyle 972, I need you on an odd flight level, flying eastbound, descent flight level 390.
Descent flight level 390, Kyle 972.
Pyramid radar, hello, is there 3256, level 357, descending 240 inbound, continued. With 3256, Bremen, good evening, radar contact, squawk 2403. Squawk 2403 with 3256. With 3256, check, squawk again, 2403. Squawk 2403, sorry, with 3256.
Moin, Lufthansa 5, X-Ray Victor, Flight Level 320, direct, Alada.
Lufthansa 5, X-Ray Victor, Bremen, hello, radar contact. With 3256, radar contact, cleared Rarup 1 Papa arrival, descent flight level 110. Descent level 110, cleared Rarup 1 Papa arrival with 3256. Lufthansa 5 X-Ray Victor, ich brauche einen Ort Flight Level Elbe für Flight Level 330.
Affirm.
Lufthansa 5 X-Ray Victor, Roger, recleared Flight Level 330.
Flight Level 330, 5 X-Ray Victor.
Calle 972, if able, we would like to leave the cockpit for 15 minutes only.
Calle 972, I can offer you maximum 5 minutes, then I have to hand you off to the next sector.
Roger that, Calle 972.
Thank you. Easy35 for my contact Copenhagen 121-375, good night. Beluga 234 Delta, no further ATC ahead, Unicom 122.8, have a good flight, bye bye.
Unicom Beluga 234 Delta, bye bye. 972, that's good.
Easy34 Alpha Mike Copenhagen, very good afternoon, identified, proceed direct Ninta.
Good afternoon, Copenhagen Control. Speedbird 464 with you, flight level 370, direct Geska.
Speedbird 464 Copenhagen, very good afternoon, identified, proceed direct Ninta.
Direct Ninta, Speedbird 464.
Copenhagen Control, good afternoon. Scandinavian 224 Rio, flight level 370, direct Geska.
Scandinavian 224 Copenhagen Control, hello, identified, proceed direct Ninta.
Direct Ninka 224.
Just to confirm, Ninta, November India, November Tango Alpha.
Direct Ninta 224.
Copenhagen JB in Kellam 29 uniform inbound Tuska at flight level 370.
KLM 29 uniform calling.
Confirmed.
KLM 29 uniform, Copenhagen Control, very good afternoon, identified, proceed direct PPEX.
Direct PPEX, KLM 29 uniform.
KLM 29 uniform, sorry it was broken for me, confirm direct PPEX.
Direct PPEX, KLM 29 uniform. Copenhagen Control, good day, KLM 1136 now inbound Eelde, climbing to flight level 190.
KLM 1136 Copenhagen, very good afternoon, identified, climb flight level 360.
Climb to flight level 360, KLM 1136.
Copenhagen, hello, Canada 72 with you, flight level 3900.
KL line 72, Copenhagen Control, very good afternoon, identified. Proceed direct PPX.
Proceed direct PPX, Canada 72.
Copenhagen Control, good day, KLM 2 Tango, inbound Eelde, passenger flight level 120.
KLM 2 Tango, Copenhagen, hello, identified, climb flight level 360.
Flight 360, KLM 2 Tango.
San France 276, no further ATC, on Silicon frequency 122.8 for a safe flight.
For North France 2907.
Trans 2907, contact with radar frequency 123.925, safe flight.
Prima radar 123, decimal 925, North France 2907, good day.
Good day.
Canada 72, request leave the cockpit to 5 minutes ago.
Say again?
Canada 72, request leave the cockpit for 5 minutes ago.
Approved, report back.
Report back, Canada 72.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to serve our dinner menu. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisle. If you would like to upgrade your meal to the premium package, super stickers and super chats are available. If you are a frequent flyer with us, you can now join the channel as a member and gain extra perks to make your journey with us more enjoyable. Thank you.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, no further ATC, monitor Unicom frequency 122.8, have also flight behind.
Uniform plus 5 minutes Alpha.
gentlemen, we are about to serve our drinks selection, including tea, coffee and cold beverages. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisle. If you would like to upgrade to other warm beverages available, such as hot chocolate and jam and toast flavored tea, super stickers and super chats are available. If you are a frequent flyer with us, you can now join the channel as a member and get extra perks to make your journey with us more enjoyable. Thank you.
pilots to know that we will be starting at descent shortly towards our destination, and the cabin crew will start preparing the aircraft for our arrival. If you can make sure the aisles are clear for the cabin crew so they can make their way around the aircraft, that would be most appreciated. Thank you very much, and we'll have an update for you shortly.
Okay guys, so back with you. Let's start having a look at our arrival into Riga. So we're currently 104 miles away from the Tango Uniform Kilo, or TUC VOR as I'll call it. We want to be at flight level 90 by then, flight level 090, and we can start our descent probably in about 10-15 miles away. From there, if I we'll just use the VFR map, show you what's going to be happening. So we'll come in via the TUC VOR, as you can see, and then we want to get down to 2,500 feet at Pushback, the initial approach fix, and then I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. We will not be taking that route. We'll just be coming out on a heading of whatever that is, 040, something like that, and that basically intercepts the ILS to take us into runway 36. Transition altitude is 6,000 feet. Minimum safe altitude 1,700 feet, so nice and low terrain around us. Minimum descent altitude is 237 feet. And the elevation of the airfield is 37 feet. QNH 1014. Mid approach altitude is 2,500 feet. And one thing we need to be aware of is it states on the charts we need to maintain a speed of 160 knots until 4 miles DME. So we'll have to be aware of that. But other than that, it looks like quite a nice straightforward approach in. It's also a handcrafted airport. Available free on flightsim.to. Right, I've just been out of the chat for a second. What do I need to show people? Right, okay. Oh, do you know what? I've not actually got Navigraph launched up at the moment on this PC. I tell you what, guys, let me get on the ground and then I will launch it, just in case it disturbs the stream. But if you stick with me to the end, I'll launch that and show you what numbers with regards to decision height or minimum descent altitude. So I think, as you guys have already been discussing, decision height is only used for auto lands, and we're not going to need an auto land today. The tower controller is online as well at Riga 118.1, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that in a minute. But we're going to start our descent now, so we're heading down to, as I say, flight level 090. So let's go ahead and start that descent all the way down. So using vertical speed just because the aircraft doesn't really like much else at the moment. Thrust idle, vertical speed 1,700 feet, flight level 090, and just roll that speed back to hold. We want to hold about 270 knots, but that speed will continue to increase up as we go down, so something else we need to be aware of. Once we've landed at the airport, we vacate to the right, rapid exit taxiway Delta, or if anything, if we have a long landing, it could be Foxtrot, and the control tower will of course tell us where to go.
Descending from flight level 370 down to flight level 90 for the Orbix 2 Charlie arrival for runway 36.
And we'll also make that call just to let people know where we are. Riga traffic is E34 Alpha Mike, 75 miles from the Tango Uniform Kilo. VOR descending now, flight level 090 for the Orbix 2 Charlie approach. So I believe Nick is behind us. I think he took off after us. I hope he took off after us, otherwise we'll probably land on him in a second. Does the A320NX have VNAV to descend on its own? Well, even if it did have VNAV, which sadly at the moment it doesn't, the real aircraft does, but here in the sim we don't, it will not descend on its own. The aircraft will never descend on its own. You still have to command the aircraft to do that. Please, so you were watching the video earlier about the new stable release. How did I capture the outside view of the perfect landing? I cheated. I made the landing and then I used the flight replay video. I did the flight replay and then added the voiceover afterwards. Trying to concentrate on doing that and talking at the same time is, well, I'm a man, I can't multitask. Nick, you're behind me, that's good to know. So we're at 60 miles away. I'm just going to increase that descent a little bit to 2,000 feet per minute, as we can see. So we've got the weather and landing information. The flight management guidance computer is all programmed in. We've got the VORs in. Let's check the frequency. ILS is correct, 108.1. That's right as well. And we can also check the latest weather here, 1014, 350 at 8. I could probably key that in actually, 350 at 8, as that has changed ever so slightly, but ceiling and visibility is okay. What have we got in here? 3606, so 350 at 8. There we go. And we'll pop the de-ice on as well, as we've got a nice thick bank of cloud to fly through on our way down. Don't need it just yet, but we want to pop that on before we hit the clouds. And for anyone that has that is flying with me today, I don't know how, I think there's only 3 of us today, so we shouldn't need it, but there is a holding point at the Samad VOR. That's the Tuk VOR, though that identifier bears no resemblance to its name at all. So just keeping an eye on the airspeed. Should be able to hold 270 knots shortly, but that is another sim bug. We can't change. We can't switch to knots units just there. So I hope everyone has had a pleasant flight. I quite like doing these evening flights, or mid-afternoon flights. And we should get probably some nice colours as well. If we look behind us, the sun should be setting low in the sky, with beautiful contrails as well. Very nice. Yeah, Kevin, so EVRA Tower is online, and well, we'll not contact them until we're actually on the approach. Looking forward to seeing this modded airport, though. We can probably pop that in, actually. Get EVRA Tower on there, so we're not faffing around with that. Let's pop that on standby. 118.1. Set the standby, QNH 1014. Landing elevation is 37, as we've said. We've done the arrival briefing. No need for the terrain on the radar. There's no terrain around this airfield, which is nice. Malero, so the MDA is the minimum descent altitude. Once I get on the ground, guys, I'll fire up Navigraph. I have it on the. I've got it on the tablet for this flight. I didn't fire it up on the PC, but I will fire it up, and then you'll be able to see that. And I'll show you very, very quickly what we're talking about. So let's slow us down now. Captain Ian, my goal is to land under 130 feet per minute. Nah. 150, 170, happy with that. Any less, you then you run the risk of floating. You need to make contact with the ground. I see so many people that are just obsessed with great landings. I did one the other day and everyone went wild. It was 60 feet per minute. And I was like, yeah, that's not good. That's bad. Lou, is it better to be on the stable or the development? It depends. I mean, the stable obviously is, well, stable. Everything works. The development also works, but there's just the occasion where they update something as they're introducing it, and it can just go wrong a little bit. But I've never had an issue with the dev. I mean, technically this is the development version, but it's the custom. It's actually the custom version. If you want to know the difference between the three, there's a video which I uploaded quite recently on the channel. Go and check that out, and it will explain the difference between them. Will I be flying the CRJ now it's been released? I shall not be flying it because I only like to do things properly, and I don't want to have to learn an entire new aircraft just to do things correctly. But I shall be giving away a free copy of that. So, look out for that later this week. Dickens, Navigraph has perfect charts, but on regular charts it can be confusing. I think some of the regular charts, they're just different versions, aren't they? Navigraph use Jepson, and the other ones are the Lido charts, aren't they? Okay, let's get that de-ice on. Those clouds are turning a lovely orange colour now. How long before the A320NX is near study level? Well, I know what they've got lined up. If they get everything they want implemented into the sim, then it would be near study level. Time, on the other hand, is how long that's going to take, of course, is different. Okay, so once again that speed still not quite behaving itself, but if we activate the approach phase and now enter manage mode, those engines will stay rolled back. Oh, where's the aircraft going? Should you not be going direct to PEVAC now? This is what he did on my approach yesterday into Mexico. Can we go to PEVAC, please? There we go. Okay, so it's nearly time to get you guys in your seats, I think. Flight level 140.
Ladies and gentlemen, from cockpit, we're now descending between
Would I say 60 frames per second is essential? Absolutely not. This is nowhere near 60 frames per second. This buffets between anywhere between 25 and 40 depending on what it's doing. Ah, good evening, Dark Fury. Okay, seatbelt signs coming on. Where's the dome lights on? Turn those off. So, minimums are set both sides. Engine mode select is normal and the electronic flight bag is stowed. Let's get some lights on as it's going to be dark beneath the cabin. Even once we get through this cloud layer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelts as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, about to pass 10,000 feet. We'll get the lights on. Love the colours of the sim at sunset. You can see on the horizon. Okay, speed Alt Star, and now we can continue our descent down to 2,500 feet. So the flight plan looks sequenced, and we're going to probably dial this in manually anyway using heading mode, just to make sure it intercepts the ILS nicely. We're in managed speed at the moment, and we've got the landing lights on. A reminder, of course, we need to hold 160 knots until 4 miles DME. Landing system on. Barrett, you've just spent the day looking around Flight Radar 24 for strange liveries. What a great way to spend lockdown. So guys, just before we initiate the approach, why don't do me a favour, hit that like button for me. It's free. So let's just get those spoilers out, get below VFE 1, and then we can get those flaps out. That'll slow us down. Do I need to contact approach? I would if they were online, Blair. Oh yes, but they're not. The tower is online, and in VATSIM the tower will not speak to you until you're established on the ILS. They only want to know that you're there and about to come in. They're not bothered about anything else. So there's the glide slope coming up from beneath us. I told you it'd be dark down here, didn't it? That looks good.
Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for landing.
So we'll just be aware on where the aircraft decides to send us after Pevek. As I say, I may just initiate that left-hand turn automatically. We'd have got vectors from air traffic control if they were here, of course, but they're not. So we can just vector ourselves in. Turn the brightness down on that display. So is the aircraft going to go left now to the next waypoint, or is it going to go direct to... yeah, I thought it would do that. So speed Alt Star, and I'm now in heading mode.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land. Please
I'm going to start to bring the aircraft round to the left and set ILS. So flaps 1, speed check, flaps 1.
all electronic devices until after landing. Thank you.
And we're going to come around now to around 040, intercept that localizer. Radio altimeter is alive. And the airport is... oh, there it is. Oh, losing some frame rates there. Worst time to lose frame rates. So when we set flaps 2, we're going to pull the speed bug and we need to select 160 knots to hold that until 4 miles DME. Okay, so turning the lock on now, lock star, cat 3 single. That's coming across now, as you can see. Flying Wild, if you head to flightsim.to, you'll see they've got a great, a massive selection of liveries available. We'll also contact the tower as well.
Sky Spirit, Concord 1, Amsterdam, stand 100.
Glide slopes alive, approach mode on. Tower Easy 34 Alpha Mike, established runway 36 at 9 miles.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, Riga Tower, good afternoon, 743, fast service 8 knots, runway 36, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 36, Easy 34 Alpha Mike. So glide slope blue, that should capture in a second. There we go, glide slope captured. Missed approach altitude is 2,500 feet, confirmed. Descending now with the glide slope. So flaps 2, speed check, flaps 2. I'm going to roll that back now to 160 knots until 4 miles DME. So auto brake not required, ground spoilers are armed, landing gear coming down, lights coming on, ding the cabin, five miles, and the approach looks good. Speed check flaps 3, and we can go at VAP speed in a moment. We've passed 4 miles DME, so roll the speed back, flaps full. Cabin is secured for landing, auto thrust speed, go around altitude set, ECAM memo, landing no blue. Slight wind from the right, but hopefully not too much to be concerned about. We'll take the autopilot off now and we'll bring her in ourselves. Autopilot 1 disengaged. I have control. So just keeping an eye on the pappies and the glide slope. just drifting to that right a little bit, so let's pull us back onto that centre line. See if the pappies and the glide slope line up, of course. What I found is you're better to go with the pappies because the glide slope seems to be well out at some airports. I've never landed here before though, so I'm not sure. We're just looking out the window. So that wind has now spun round to be almost a straight on headwind. The approach is stable. Continue. Reversers are on. Decelerating and passing 80 knots. 70 knots, reversers off. Here's the rapid exit taxiway, Delta.
Welcome to Riga. The local time is 18:29. Unfortunately, the temperature is currently a very cold 0 degrees Celsius.
It's always 0 degrees wherever I land. I bring the ice with me.
You might want to put it on before exiting the aircraft. Please remain
Good afternoon, Riga Tower, 0464 with you, established 36 at 12 miles.
have entered the airport terminal.
Speedbird 464, Riga Tower, hello, subsequent 320, 4 knots, runway 36, clear to land.
Thank you for flying with Easyjet.
Clear to land, runway 36, Speedbird 464.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, welcome to Riga, taxi to gate 102 via Foxtrot and Tango.
Taxi to gate 102 via Foxtrot and Tango, Easy 34 Alpha Mike. Okay, so get that APU started and let's have a look where we're going, shall we? So, via Foxtrot and Tango, so carry on here, then turn back, double back on ourselves, and it's just there. So as I say, this is a modded airport. And remember guys, if you are leaving the stream after seeing the landing, please hit the like button on the way out, and of course subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, as we will have a giveaway of the new Aerosoft CRJ coming up later this week, so you don't want to miss the opportunity to win a free copy of that. So I believe that's Nick coming in for landing now. And 102 is right in this back corner. And do we have numbers? I think we do. I love it when we have numbers on the taxiway. So that's 301 and 102 is this last one just over here. Oh, look at that, Riga. Very nice. Parking stand 102. Have a look outside, and I'll take the drone camera around as well once we've landed here, just to show off this freeware modded airport. guy's doing some really good work modding for A3 for the Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Riga Tower, Scandinavian 224 wheel, established on localizer runway 36.
Scandinavian
Parking brake on.
Riga Tower, good afternoon. We'll check 32.
APU running. Let's close down engine 1 and engine 2.
Continue approach number 2, Scandinavian 224.
Continue. Nicola, why don't you just come back in the chat after landing? Why am I like a mother-in-law? I'll try not to be offended by that. So now we're on the ground. We should be able to use the new fly pad to call the jetway over. Here it comes. Call external power. Get the baggage cart. Get the catering. And we can knock off the seatbelt signs. We can also turn off the rotating beacon light. And we can open the doors. Let those guys out. Is the door open? Oh, it's already open. Fair enough. Alright guys, thank you very much. Your passengers can deboard. Let's have a look outside at the beautiful, not the beautiful aircraft. That aircraft's full of ice. Let's have a look at Riga. And has Nick touched down yet? Is he down there? Where is he? Is that Nick, or is that the following aircraft? Oh, he's there. Nick has just touched down. I can just see him. There he is. So let's have a quick look at this this airport. Yeah, HD. I realise the flaps aren't going to come up now. I shut down the engines before pulling the flaps up. I'll let the maintenance crew worry about that. So once again, I've never actually been to Riga. Don't know what it looks like in real life, but this is nice. Interestingly enough, I bet those flaps came up in the simulator.
Scandinavian 224, for wind 310, reset 4 knots. For 320, reset 4 knots, runway 36, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 36, Scandinavian 224.
Scandi 224 coming in behind us. Let's have a look at the front of the airport, shall we?
Scandinavian, Speedbird.
And a new moon as well. Very nice.
Welcome to Riga. Taxi to gate 104 via Foxtrot and Tango.
Taxi to gate 104 via Foxtrot and Tango. Speedbird 464.
So that is a great little airport. I look forward to visiting here again. Nice straightforward approach as well. No big terrain mountains or anything like that to worry about. Okay, so I'm going to finish there for tonight, and then I will be back with you. It'll be tomorrow, probably afternoon or evening. There's no daytime, no morning stream tomorrow, I'm afraid, once again, same as today. But that's been great. Thank you very much for being on board this flight from Amsterdam to Riga. Remember guys, if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell. We've got one copy of the Aerosoft CRJ to give away free later this week in a live stream. We also have 2 copies of the flight control replay software, which is available as well, that we'll also be giving away in upcoming streams. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those. Thanks very much for flying with me this afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. Big thank you to those of you that have subscribed. A huge thank you to those that donate and contribute to the channel, and of course always grateful to the Easyjetsimpilot members. So if you want to check that out, you can now become a channel member of the Easyjetsimpilot channel. Check that out and see what's available, and I'll look forward to seeing you all very, very soon for the next flight. Good night. Oh, I am still here. Quick. Okay, yeah. Well, while these guys are taxiing, let me open Navigraph up and just show the difference between those two. This will only take a second, I hope. Let me get Navigraph open for you. So I'll just show you the charts for the arrival that we have just done. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, so here is the ILS approach. Let me just ping that on so I know you guys can see it. So, is Navigraph working there?
Welcome to Riga, taxi ticket.
There we go. So, let me just make this a little bit bigger for you. So, there's the approach chart for runway 36 where we have just landed. And what we're looking at is down here. So, the minimum descent height, or DA as they call it here in the Jetson charts, is the large number, the 237. So that's what we popped into the minimum descent height for that, or minimum descent altitude. Don't confuse the two. Minimum descent altitude is the larger number on the Jetson charts, 237. The smaller number is for the if you're doing an auto land. Now if I just close that down, I didn't have the Cat 2 and the Cat 3 charts up just because I knew the weather was good. So if I now go to the approach, there we go. So if I bring up the Cat 2 ILS, you'll see that you can see the decision height is 100. So that is the decision height 100, or radio altimeter 105. This is where we get the different values from on the charts depending on what we're doing. What I will look to do is, now I've got Navigraph on this on the simming PC and the streaming PC, is we'll look at doing a tutorial, if you like, at reading the charts for the arrivals, because a lot of the departure charts, standard instrument departure charts, they're almost self-explanatory on what you need to do. But as you can see, you also have different categories of aircraft. So the A320 is a category C aircraft. So categories A, B and C, 1005 is the decision height for those aircraft, and category D aircraft, which is a little bit bigger, so it's 108 for the decision height, and the minimum descent height, if you were doing a Cat 2 approach but not performing an auto land, would be 137, or if you were a Cat D aircraft, 140. So hopefully that's just very briefly explained that. So thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. As I say, we'll have a look at part of the new tutorial series that I'm doing, the sort of real world procedures tutorial series that I'm doing. I will get some chart tutorials on there just to try and explain that in a bit more detail than we've done at the end of that stream, but I know a couple of you were asking about it, so glad we could quickly show that for you. Nicola, yeah, Cat 3 has 3 feet higher. What difference does 3 feet make? I did wonder that, but I wasn't going to question it. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all again in the next stream, and hope you have a great evening. Good night.
Riga Tower, Moin, Gravity 2406, stand 304 with echo on board, request after air to Berlin.
Gravity 2406, Riga Tower, hello. Information echo correct, cleared destination Berlin, valid for us departure, runway 36, squawk 4172.
At Berlin, valid for golf, departure runway 36, squawk 4172 for Gravity 2406.
Gravity 2406, feedback is correct.